Talk about the NFL playoffs, but
I do too. Let's do this. Let's talk about the NFL.
Ty, why did you want to leave Montana and come here?
Well, I didn't want to leave Montana. I love Montana. I had a great time in my 12 years there. It's a fantastic program. It's a wonderful community, great fan base. Got to coach a lot of wonderful kids and get to know their families, and it was a great experience. I loved my 12 years in Missoula, Montana. When Jeff Choate was hired to be the Montana State Bobcat football coach, things changed, I guess. I'm really excited to work with Jeff, and I think that I'll get to learn to love this side of the state. I already love this side of the state. My in-laws are on the east side. They're in Billings. My wife played volleyball here. That's not why we came, but we have a lot of friends and family over here. I got a first cousin in Bozeman. She's an attorney, and we're fired up about the change. It's going to be a fun challenge. I'm excited about the group that Coach Choate is putting together, and I'm really excited to get to meet the players and get to know this football team. And that's another thing about Jeff that I really respect and know about Jeff is it's all about the players. And I think that the personalities that he's hired and hiring with his personality and his leadership, I think the players will enjoy the coaching staff that they get to work with.
What can fans expect from your defense?
We will play fast. We will be, you know, something I'll tell the defense from day one is I expect us to be nasty on the field and gentlemen off the field. We will probably tweak some things, and Coach Choate's coming from a program that had the #1 defense in the Pac-12, you know, and he was with a great group of coaches for the last few years, and he's coached with, you know, some of the best defensive coaches in the country. The guy worked with Will Muschamp. I mean, come on. You know, so he'll have some ideas and some suggestions. I'm sure we'll do a lot of the same things that we did at Montana that we had some success. And I know that in my 4 years as coordinator, going on 5th, that there's things I need to improve upon, and I'm fired up to keep working on getting better. I mean, I'm never satisfied, and I'm excited to work with Jeff and work with Byron and BJ, who I know you guys just talked with, and I got to tell you, something I told you guys after this first happened, you know, one of my first calls was Kane Ione, and Kane and I have been work friends for the last dozen years, and now we get a chance to work together, and I'm fired up to work with Kane. And you know, like I've told a couple of players that have popped into my office, I know most of them are still on break and still coming back, but I'm just here to try to get back to playing great defense, which wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't. We've got multiple Buck Buchanan Award winners on that wall out there. We only had one at Montana, and he's a good one who's still playing, but it wasn't that long ago these guys were playing great defense, and I expect us to get back to that really quickly.
Can you talk a little bit more about how this process unfolded and the conversations with Jeff went, what his selling points were, just how it all went?
Yeah, we lost, if you want to call it a loss, to North Dakota State. It was a butt kicking in Fargo, and I believe it was about 7 a.m. the next morning we spoke. I initially just sent him a text when I found out. I think it was announced on a Friday, or the word got out anyway, the way the word can get out in this profession. I think I was in Fargo with the team on Friday when it kind of surfaced that he was going to be the coach, and I just shot him a text saying, "Congratulations, I'm happy for you." You know, Jeff and I are kind of from the same hood, and he texted me back saying, "Thanks, let's talk soon." And I said, "Cool, you know, whatever." And then we went and played the best team in the country, the hopefully soon to be 5-time defending champion, and we talked the next morning, and he said he was really interested and in his own way offered me a job on that Sunday morning. And then we spoke a little bit more throughout the week, and I had some other stuff going actually and I've never been one to look at other places, but some other people had reached out to me And you know, so it was an interesting week to say the least. And then I shook Jeff's hand, which was enough for the two of us, and gave him my word. And then that following Monday, I went in and spoke with the Grizzlies.
What was it like putting on that Bobcat for the first time?
I've been working my way into the blue. I started out with white, and it's kind of been a transition. I've literally retired all blues for the last dozen years of my life, and it's good. It's real good. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to be here. Jeff's awesome in that he's the kind of coach that'll tell you whether it's 9 months or 9 years. You know, let's just work our butts off and do something special with this football team. I have no plans to look elsewhere. I want to work my butt off for the Montana State Bobcats, and I want to work my butt off for Jeff Choate. So I expect to be wearing this blue for a while until you all tell me to get out of here.
Your transition here has caused quite a stir around the state. So what has that been like? A lot of positive and a lot of negative. So what has that been like, just dealing with that over these last few weeks?
You know, as Mick Delaney told me, this type of deal happens every year in the SEC. You know, where SEC teams are trying to poach coaches, and we're not the SEC, but I think our fans are as passionate up here in Montana to a certain extent. The problem is I've been there a long time. I've been at Montana 12 out of 13 years, you know, and really got to coach a lot of fantastic kids and football teams. You know, 3 national championship appearances, 8 Big Sky Conference championships, and we've had some good success. Our media people at our department did a deal towards the end of the season, you know, and it said my 120th win as an assistant coach. That's kind of cool, you know, when you're 12 years in, and I think I got to 123 or something at Montana. So it was a great run, and I got to coach with a lot of great coaches. That's the thing, and I saw a lot of coaches come and go, you know. And people always ask me, and I think a lot of people are trying to read between the lines, and everybody wants to know why. I'm really excited to be on the front end of a staff for the first time in a while, if that makes sense. I was the holdover 4 times, you know what I mean? I worked for 4 head coaches at Montana, which was awesome. I learned so much from Bobby Houck and Robin Pflugrad, Mick Delaney, and Bob Stitt. And I'll always, you know, I know I said some things to our local media about wanting to be the next head coach there and stuff. My heart and passion will be for Montana State. But I did love my opportunity and my time at Montana. I did, you know, and I guess when I was talking to Bill Speltz, who was our local guy, I think that I was trying to portray to him what my goals were. I'd like to be a head football coach, you know. I respect what Jeff's done, and what Jeff's done hasn't been easy because he's had to move his family around the country for the last decade of his life and his kid's life, and I really don't want that. I do like stability, and as I always say to you guys, I didn't grow up in Montana, but I really consider myself a Montana type guy. I love the mountains. I love our big lakes and rivers. I love riding my Harley, and I can't wait to ride my motorcycle on this side of the state. I keep hearing the Red Lodge area and coming through the, you know, the pass and Yellowstone, and some guys fish, and I'd rather jump on my motorcycle. So Montana's a wonderful and special place to me. And shoot, you remember, you interviewed me in Central after I went through a situation down at UNLV, and you know, time heals a lot of things, and I've got to work myself away from that. But it wasn't too long ago I interviewed at Montana Tech, you know, and Chuck got the job, and Chuck's done a great job, and I love football, and I hope to coach this game for the rest of my life. I don't want to do anything else, and I don't know what I would do. I'd try to maybe go sell cars or something. But I hope to get to coach football, and I hope that I'm coaching football in Montana.
Coach,
Yes, sir.
can you just talk about what your feelings were for the Bobcats during your time at Montana, and now what it's going to be like being on the other side of things and going up against those guys from Missoula?
Sure. That's a really unfair question, but a good question. So you know, Bobby Hauk is one of my mentors, and he taught me early about growing up in this state. I mean, that you're one or the other. There's no gray. And so I spent 12 years and was fortunate enough to win 9 of the 12 competitions. And I've been teaching every kid that I could that came to that program to dislike the rival. I mean, it's not just another game, and I know I've publicly said that. It's not another game, and I will do my best to teach this group of young men what it's like to play and beat your rival, because I can tell you, and I remember our losses more than I remember our wins, and that's a fact, you know, because it's not just another game. And 2003, 2005, 2012, because I wasn't there in 2010. And as I educated some of our new coaches on the rivalry, 1985, 2015, right? 2002, 2003, 2005, 2010, and 2012. And I'm not a media guy, but that's what I know about these two programs, and I'm going to do everything in my power wearing these colors now to get that shift coming back a little bit, because the shift is, you know, it's been pretty good over on the west side. And everything I know about this place, though, in my 4 full days here, I got here on Sunday and it's Thursday, this is a pretty first-class place, and I've been nothing but impressed. I've met a lot of people, a lot of people have reached out, boosters, alum, the administration, everybody's been awesome from the top down. I'm meeting the janitors. I'm trying to meet everybody and say hello to everybody that I see, and everybody's been awesome. This place is doing some good things, and I expect the two best teams in this conference better be in the state of Montana. That's a fact. It should be between, that last game of the season should be for the conference championship. That's my opinion. And that, going back to your question, is what I'm going to try to teach the young guys on this football team.
What were the issues with this defense from your perspective last
I haven't got to, I got to follow the Cats only a few times. We've been running around with our hair on fire in terms of recruiting and getting everything organized, so I haven't watched a lot of it. I think that I'm getting this underlying theme that I just need to get everybody on the same page, everybody on board with this is the defense, this is how we're going to run it. I'm going to try to put you guys in the best situation, but we got to go execute the call too. I'll always tell you, if we don't play well, that it's my fault, all right? But the guys on this football team, the guys on this defense, got to go take some ownership of it too. This is not Ty Gregorak's defense. This is not Kane Ion's defense. This is their defense, and they got to take ownership in that. And that's the thing I'm going to try to cultivate here, is the brotherhood and things that I know this place had, because I watched it. I'm a football fan, right? And I was also the rival. So I'm going to try to cultivate a brotherhood and no pointing fingers at each other. It's not a D-line to secondary thing. It's a we thing. It's not an offense, it's not a defense thing. It's a brotherhood, and that's what I'm going to try to cultivate here. But, you know, I'm always going to be a big believer in the front, and I'm always going to be a big believer in the back end, you know, like I've talked to some of you guys about. And this place has some really, really good linebackers. There's a lot of linebackers in this program right now. So now I think we need to give them a little bit of help up front and some dudes that can cover. Just from what I've seen so far. Sorry, my answers get a little...
Aside from the defensive struggles from a year ago, how would you evaluate just the overall state of the program?
Well, we lost a good quarterback, I guess, over Christmas. And when I say a good quarterback, I walked off the field here towards the end of November, and he made me a believer, because I didn't get to coach against him a year ago. And a year ago, we got after him pretty good at Montana. So I'll always remember the number 7. I had seven turnovers, 7 points. Those are, and I was ticked. We gave up 7 at the end. But that kid's a player, and I think I don't love the rule myself, but if anybody can do it, I think he can do it, because I look at the two quarterbacks in Vernon and Dakota in very similar ways. They're different quarterbacks. I'm not going to say they're the same, but they do have a lot of similarities. And we can talk different, who can make what throws and who can do what with their legs. They're both leaders and they're both winners. And you saw in that bowl game what happened when Vernon went down. I mean, it was not the same football team. And so they need a winner and a competitor, and that's what I know of Dakota. I've never met the kid. Well, actually, at the end of the game, I went up to him and I said, "You're a dude. You're a real dude," because we sent some ponies after him, and he slipped through some stuff. That mid to end of the third, start of the fourth quarter, I was throwing stuff, and I was not happy at all. I probably looked like Cramsey on the other sideline. Between the two of us, we were, he's throwing one thing, I'm throwing the other thing, and so he did a good job. He did a good job. He's a player, a real player.
How much of an adjustment is it going to be for your defense? I know the past few years in Montana, you have guys like Wags and Tyrone Holmes. Not having that guy up front, pass rusher that clearly, gets those sacks, those numbers.
Yeah, and maybe we do have that guy. I think we have some really good football players on this football team. Now it's just a matter of putting them in the right place and doing some things with them that can maybe help them have more success. Yes, I've been fortunate at Montana. There's no question about it. But you look around the country. I mean, let's talk about both the FCS and the FBS football games. There's a lot of good football players on there that help make the coaches better coaches. So that running back for Alabama looks like he could play for the Lions right now. I mean, he's the real deal. I think we've got some good players on this football team. We've got to go get more. Pass rushers are something I believe in. We lose Wagaman. Tyrone is equal, or in a lot of ways a better year, in my opinion. Tyrone's a very physical player. He's such a good kid. I'm not going to say we don't have that. I mean, again, I know a couple guys are going to be coming off some surgery and some injury stuff. Spring ball, winter condo, those are going to be huge. Just for me. I mean, I can't wait to meet these guys and size them up and see them in person. A lot of the Montana kids I'll know just from recruiting battles and stuff. A lot of the out-of-state kids I won't know. My man Timmer's gone. I got to coach his brother. I love the Timmers. I love their parents. I've been getting a lot of all my Bobcat friends, because I got Bobcat friends. They're a lot friendlier now, and Tom Malum, who's an old Bobcat here, he wouldn't let me leave Missoula without hooking up for a quick cold beer, and he gave me a brand new Montana State quarterback club deal that he hadn't even taken off the tags, and said, "Here, Gregorak, you gotta wear this your first day of work," and I wore it my second day of work. To the quarter, I got to go to a quarterback club meeting, and I sported the deal, and that was my white. So again, I started out with nothing, then I went to white, and then I've kind of transitioned into blue. So I do believe in being able to rush the passer. We got to find some, and we will. And it wasn't that long ago we had some of the best in the country, and we'll find them. And Byron, Byron's a good young coach, and we're still kind of working out the kinks in the coaching staff. Gerald Alexander kind of threw us for a little bit, and right now we're trying to find the best fit for the coaching staff and the program, and we'll see where that goes. But I've known Byron a long time. He's from Coeur d'Alene, so again, my neck of the woods, and he was awesome. He's just everything you'd want in a coach and a player, and he's going to do a great job with those guys. He's a good, young, energetic. I think what you're going to see, and you guys are getting to know Jeff, is there's going to be a lot of energy. There's no question about it, and these guys know kind of how I do things at practice. And to me, there's the meeting room, which is where you teach, and then there's the field where you coach. And we're going to be both, and we're going to teach our butts off in the classroom, and we're going to coach our rears off on the field. So, and there's a lot of field space out there. You guys got more practice space than, well, it's like Central
a little
Washington.
better than the River Bowl.
Yeah, well, I like the River Bowl. I mean, Montana's, the Grizz got a cool, it's a cool place over there, and you guys will never hear me say a negative thing. So I didn't know how this was going to go or not, but I have nothing but positives to say about that place. It's a fantastic program, and like I said, hopefully at the end of this November, the two of us are fighting for a conference championship.
Recruiting-wise, have they talked to you about territories or anything like that, or what? Will you be in or will you be out?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a little bit up in the air right now, especially because the staff isn't set right now, and we've only got three and a half weeks with a dead week next week. So right now we kind of have primary recruiters and secondary recruiters, and the coordinators will get out to see certain dudes. But no, we haven't said here's the map of the country and started putting thumbtacks onto who's where. We have a pretty good idea where we'll go. I mean, the thing is Jeff's hiring a really good group of guys from different places, and the best thing about recruiting, if you can be at a place that, in terms of recruiting, you can go recruit kind of where you're from and the area you know or where you played ball at. You know, just as an example of some of the territory I covered at Montana, I grew up in Spokane, so I have Washington and North Idaho. I've had Boise in my day. My little boy lives in Minneapolis, so I got to recruit the Midwest a little bit. I played at CU. I had Colorado for years, you know what I mean? And I think Jeff's going to do that with his staff. I mean, you got Matt Miller, who's from Helena, Byron House from CDA, and Bald at Boise. You know, he hired, BJ in Army. Those guys have got such a pulse of this state at so many levels, you know, in terms of what level guys can play at, and they know. You know, today I asked for a high school coach's number. Boom, give it to me in state that I needed to contact. So it's a very diverse staff. I mean, just getting to know these guys, and then the three guys I knew Bo and Kane for a long time, and then Michael Petrie. I've been nothing but impressed with that guy, and I had to play his backs, you know, the last couple of years. And Big Jesse popped a couple on the Grizz last year that I'd still love to get the call back. It was my fault. But Jesse Newell's a war daddy. I can't wait to meet that guy. I'd love to try to steal him to our side of the football, but I doubt that'll happen because he's a dude. But I would love to steal him. Gunnar Brecky, that was an old recruiting battle. He committed to the Grizz. I'm just excited to see some of these guys and go shake hands with them and say hey after a few years that I haven't seen them. It's going to be good.
I've talked to Ryan Burke recently. This is for something I'm working on. He said that he was very close to you at UM. Can you just talk about his situation and sort of the unfortunate way?
Ryan Burke is everything that's good about Montana and Montana State football. Okay, he's a Billings guy who is going to do amazing things. He's going to get into politics, and I would be shocked. And I'm just saying this right now on I don't even know, is it January 8th? I don't even know. 7th. January 7th. Ryan Burke will probably be the governor of Montana someday. I'm telling you, the kid's just got a way about him that's he's smart, lovable, and he was a good athlete. He has had some concussion stuff, and our country and Will Smith had to thank you, Will. But there's been some issues with concussions and some of the old guys in the old days, and it's. The best thing is that the awareness is there now, but Ryan had some stuff coming out of high school, and then you start getting multiple concussions, and I think the number's 5 or 6 for Ryan, And I told him, I said, listen, dude, we all know you'd come back. You're a tough guy. You are what's right about your situation. I mean, he's the kind of guy that can go play for Montana or Montana State when athletically he probably. Wouldn't be the best dude, when you have your recruiting board, but he's the kind of guy you want on your field because he gives you all the other stuff. He grew up with the rivalry, I would imagine we're gonna talk about the rivalry some more in the next year. He knows about the rivalry, all right? You can go to California and you can get some great athletes, or in this case, Texas, and go get great athletes, but they don't know about the rivalry, and you want kids that grow up that know Montana and Montana State football, and that's why I love that guy. And he's such a good kid. And I mean it with all my heart, guys, when I say the thing I'm most excited about is to meet the dudes. I really am, because that's what it's all about. I've met the coaches, they're good. We'll spend the next 1,000 hours a week. Now I want to meet the kids. And Ryan Burke is, he'd be a dude I'd fight for here if you went back 3-4 years ago, because he's everything that's right about Montana kids that come to play for the Grizz and the Cats. I said that. I apologize. The Cats and the Grizz. I got to learn that it's the Cat Grizz game now, and not the Grizz Cat. It always everyone, you know, Cat Grizz and Grizz Cat. If you're over there, you say, well, that just sounds funny, and over here you're like, oh no, that sounds terrible. So it'll be good. I'm fired up to be here. I hope you guys get that impression. Anything else from you guys?
All right.
Thanks, Ty.